Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Wednesday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? I hope you're all doing well. It is Wednesday, the 10th of September at 8 a.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. If you're on Twitch, feel free to say hello. Don't be afraid. You can say hello on that platform, even though it is the quietest. And do consider following my work on there and hitting the bell notification icon for be notified when I go live. If you're on YouTube, if you can hit that like button, consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification icon on YouTube. So you'll be notified when I go live or when I upload a video. And there are plenty of content that are here on the YouTube channel. We're going to look at today's daily quota, and then we'll have a look at the local weather local weather. We'll look at the UK weather as a whole. We'll be happening over the next couple of days, and then we're going to be looking specifically at some world news today. We'll have a look at UK news tomorrow, but I want to focus today mainly on world news, just for reference here. So I hope you guys are all doing well. So here is first of all today's daily quota before we go to the news here. It's actually an unknown one, actually, believe it or not. Here, today's one is unknown. So we don't actually know who came up with the quote. And just a reminder, if anyone's interested in getting one of these, this is from www.littlepennythoughts.com if you guys are interested in getting one for yourself. So the quotation is, choose self-love over self-loathe. Choose self-love over self-loathe. Very simple basic message is for today from today's daily quota there, guys. Tomorrow's one is also an unknown one. A very interesting one for tomorrow's daily quota, guys. But if you want to see that one, you'll have to join me tomorrow at 11 a.m. We'll be back to 11 a.m. tomorrow for that one. Just a reminder for those who are wondering if they are popping in why this live stream is 8 a.m. and not 11 a.m. It's because we got Prime Minister's questions at 12 o'clock. I believe there is no Prime Minister's questions the following next week from the looks of it. I did check the schedule. It doesn't look like there is one. So there will be a Good Morning show at 11 a.m. Next week, just for reference there. Right, let's have a look at the weather, guys. Give me one moment. We just switch over to it. So this is today at 7 o'clock. No point checking a bit later on, but this is what we're looking at the moment here for most of Europe. You can see actually temperatures in parts of North Africa, parts of Africa and Middle East there, so some of the temperatures. But we'll zoom back in. We can see there's quite a bit of rain taking place in parts of Europe. There, Rome, Prague, Vienna, getting some stormy showers there. Croatia there as well. But more specifically here, we're looking at the UK here, and we can see temperatures 14, 15, 16 degrees, but there's obviously some scattered showers there. If I scroll it back a little bit from, this will be 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So later on, there is going to be some showers skimming and dropping around. At the moment, I haven't seen any rains out there. I'm going to be going out for my walk as soon as the live stream ends at 9 o'clock. But I always carry a brolly with me just in case. But I don't expect to get hit by rain. But who knows, guys? Who knows? Let me just put on the wind there just for reference so we can see what the kind of winds that we're going to be getting in some parts there. 15, 18, 8 8 winds, 14, 9 is what some of the wind chimes are expecting there. In terms of rain there, scattered rains in different parts of the countries as well. Here, if I just zoom in a little bit, just given a reference there, temperatures kind of differentiate between the different parts of Scotland here. Aberdeen, Stonehaven 15, 16, Fort Williams 13, a bit chillier there. But you can see scattered showers in most parts of Scotland there, moving from the south of Scotland into the north of England. There you can see again lots of scattered showers around, coming up from that storm that's coming out from the ocean into land. Again, temperatures 14, 15, 17 degrees. So temperatures are not going to be too much of a problem. It's mainly the wind and the rain you got to contend with, and that really, to be fair, in this seasons, around this time of the year, the seasons, you should be expecting this kind of stuff anyway. But it's still to a fair extent, it's still fairly warm. It's not like freezing cold. It's not moderate at times. It feels sometimes still even that it's still too warm for me sometimes, even during these temperatures. And I'm not feeling too much humidity, me personally, but but that's just from me in the here in London, in the capital, or just outside it there. But that is some of the temperatures and whatnot for Thursday. But for Friday, 17, 18 degrees in parts of England there. We can see south of England, 16, 17 degrees there. Puddles of rain are expected, so do keep your eyes out for the rain. Again, temperatures not too bad, 15, 16 down here in the south west of England. South of Wales, 14, 15 degrees. Temperatures are not much lower there. North of Wales, some as low as 13 there. But in the Midlands there is some slight showers, but some high winds are expected, so please be aware of that. Moving further from Midlands into the north of England, again, temperatures not too much of a problem, but there are some forecast showers that are going to be hitting parts of England and the north of England into the south of Scotland there, as you can see. Temperatures, Edinburgh, Glasgow, 13, 15 respectively. Dunfermline, 13 there. Oban, 13. Fort Williams, 13 there. Stonehaven, 15, 16. Aberdeen, 16 respectively there. Inverness, 15. But you can see this large swathe of water going to be coming over on Friday afternoon. This is what this temperatures and rain forecast is expecting there. We'll have a quick look at Saturday. Just for reference, obviously we'll look at it a bit closer to the time, but that's what some of the temperatures and rains forecasting. If I just scroll back a little bit, you can see from 1 o'clock in the 1 o'clock in the morning all the way to 7 in the morning. This is in the afternoon, and that is 7 o'clock in the evening on Saturday is what the BBC is forecasting here. If I actually zoom back out for what they're saying, so there is going to be some showers, some showers in and around on Saturday. On Saturday in parts of England and Wales and Scotland there. Nothing as big, I think, as today or tomorrow. I think won't be too problematic, I will say, in terms of the weather forecast there, guys. So that is the weather for today. We'll have a look at some of the weather again tomorrow just to keep up with it, guys. I will always say that it does always change. They always update it. There's always, sometimes it doesn't always go completely as planned, so it can sometimes be differentiated from what it normally is. So some of the global news that I covered yesterday, we may hear more about it today as well. So for those who were there yesterday on the global news live stream, thank you so much for being there. I really appreciate it. Here is today's, starting with the Associated Press here. So Israel strike in Qatar targets Hamas leaders as they weigh Gaza ceasefire proposal. So they were not successful, as we saw from last night. They were not successful in targeting the Hamas leaders. An innocent person died, and I believe one of the sons of Hamas was killed during the from the strike. But honestly, the thing is that there doesn't seem to be any kind of, there's not like, I can hear there is some condemnation, but it's not like they're going to do anything again about it. Good morning, Scott. Hope you are doing well. The army tries to restore order in Nepal after protest violence intensifies there. Let's have a look at this one, guys. So Nepalese soldiers guarded the streets of the country's capital on Wednesday in order people to stay at home as they moved to restore order after tens of thousands of protesters stormed and set fire to government buildings and attacked politicians. Armed troops guarded the main areas of Kamaru, appeared to give some sense of control, returning to the city that was engulfed in violence and chaos in the previous days. Soldiers told residents about the curfew in place as they checked vehicles and people. The army had warned on Tuesday that security forces were committed to preserving law and order. The military is rarely mobilized in Nepal and had initially stayed in the barracks as police failed to control the situation. An army statement said 27 suspect looters had been arrested. And earlier on Thursday, the protests had grown increasingly violent as demonstrators set fire to government buildings and politicians' homes and attacked some leaders as criticism of the country's political elite widened. The Prime Minister resigned, though it appeared to have little effect on the unrest. Tens of thousands of protesters remained on the streets, blocked roads and storming government facilities. Army helicopters ferried some ministers to safety. Yeah, Nepal is it's not very good right now. It's not in a very good place right now. Also on Tuesday, hundreds of inmates escaped prisons. That's not good. In other cities, after police there abandoned their posts as a growing number of protesters attacked the security forces. On Monday, demonstrations led by young people angry about the blocking of several social media sites gripped Kabul with police opening fire on the crowds, killing 19 people. The social media ban was lifted on Tuesday, but the protests continued, fueled by rage over the definite accusation of political corruption. President Ram Chalda the ceremony head of state, appealed to the protesters to pursue a peaceful resolution to stop further escalation. He accepted the resignation of the Prime Minister and tasked him with leading a caretaker government until a new one is in place, though oil's position is and whereabouts is not clear. Demonstrations dubbed from the protests of Gen Z began after the government blocked social media platforms including Facebook, X and YouTube, saying those companies have failed to register and submit to government oversight. The protests spiraled to reflect a broader discontent, and many young people are angry that the children of political leaders, so-called Nepal kids, seem to enjoy luxury lifestyles and numerous advantages while most young struggle to find work. With youth unemployment running about 20% last year, according to the World Bank, government estimates that more than 2,000 younger people leave the country every day to seek work in the Middle East or Southeast Asia. Well, I don't blame them for feeling that way when they are being treated like crap. Good morning, Ariston Kia. I hope you are doing well. Yeah, it's absolutely terrible what's happening there. I really do hope they find a solution, and they need to. Obviously, I know it's corrupt. I know the government's corrupt. It's a terrible time right now for them. I do hope a solution comes. So, what to know about the Israeli strike aimed at Hamas leaders in Qatar? Trump tries to soothe Qatar after Israeli strike, but stops short of decrying of another ally. Yeah. So, one of the things that I didn't mention in last night's live stream with regards to what happened here is. This really hurts America's relationship with not just with Qatar, but with the other Gulf states. So Saudi Arabia is not happy about this. Syria, obviously, of course, will be deeply concerned about this. I mean, they're getting attacked by Israel anyway, but this really does harm America's relationship with many of the Gulf states as a direct result of this. Good morning, Ellie. Hope you are doing well. So President Donald Trump tried to walk a delicate line following Israel's attack on Hamas officials in Qatar, saying he's not thrilled about the strike on Tuesday, while stopping short now condemning Israel for carrying out an audacious strike on the soil of another major US ally. Now, some of you may know that there was an attack in Jerusalem on Monday. I believe it was Monday or over the weekend, where 6 Israelis lost their lives by an attack by Palestinians or terrorist organization groups working in the West Bank and whatnot. And that attack obviously led to a lot of anger from the Israeli government and its people, and Netanyahu had demanded retribution. And I believe this is the retribution that they've done this. This is what the retribution is. Trump says the unilateral action directed by Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu did not advance Israel or America's goals. He offered notable muted pushback, however, even suggesting this unfortunate incident could serve as an opportunity for peace. I don't see how it's an opportunity for peace when you're targeting Hamas leaders in a neutral country. The decision was made by Prime Minister Netanyahu. It was not a decision made by me, Trump said on social media hours after the strike. Later on Tuesday, Trump made it clear it was not a good situation. I'm not thrilled about it, Trump said upon arriving at the Washington restaurant for dinner near the White House. The president said he wasn't notified in advance of the attack. He added, I'll be giving a full statement tomorrow, but I'll tell you this, I was very unhappy about it, very unhappy about every aspect. Trump is seeking to soothe concerns over the Gulf ally that's played a key role in mediating between the US and Iran and its proxies, including during talks with Tehran's backed Hamas, and the war with Israel and Gaza grinds on. The US has also about 10,000 troops stationed in the Al Udeid air base in Qatar, an installation that serves as the forward headquarters of US Central Command. And this is where they believe this is where they got basically where there's a possibility. I don't know if it's been confirmed or not, but there are rumours, and I have to stress the word rumours, that's where the strikes, that's where they took off from. I don't know how true that is. The president said he directed Special Envoy Seacort to warn Qatar of the impending attack at the capital Doha. After learning about it, then that Wyckoff was quick to call Qatari officials, but the US alert was unfortunately too late to stop the attack, Trump said. So what? Israel told you they were doing the attack, and then what? How long did it take from that point of view to the time you called Qatar? How long would it have taken before their strike happened? Foreign Ministry spokesperson refuted in a post on X that the Qataris were given any warning from the US, saying it came just as the explosions from the Israeli strikes were being heard. The Qataris have sought to deepen their relationship with Trump since return to office. They even gifted him a $400 million Bahrain 747 jet that is to be refitted into a new Air Force One. Trump has said the plane will be donated to a future presidential library once his term ends and put on display as a museum piece. Yeah, they gave this guy a massive $400 million airplane, and he's still and he's not condemning Israel for what they did in their country. I view Qatar as a strong ally and a friend of the US. I feel very badly about the location of the attack, Trump said on social media. At the same time, Qatar, a wealthy nation with expensive natural gas and oil reserves, has faced scrutiny for its support of Hamas prior to the Israel-Hamas war. Doha for years for sending millions of dollars per month to the Gaza Strip to prop up Hamas's governing structure. Qatar has also hosted leaders of the Taliban and Muslim Brotherhood. In a carefully worded statement, Trump also made clear that eliminating Hamas was a worthy goal. Trump's efforts to execute Qatar without criticising Israel comes as he struggles to find an endgame to the nearly 2-year war in Gaza and win with the release of 48 hostages, about 20 who are still to be alive. Yeah, I don't think Trump is going to sort do anything with regards to this, guys, as much as I want to. It's going to be a big ask for him to do so. Yeah, I mean, he said he would end the war in Ukraine on the first day. Sorry, 24 hours, he said, but that didn't happen, did it? Thank you, Alison Keir, for the £2 super chat to get the goal started. Yes, just 4 more super chats to reach today's goal. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Israeli military urges full evacuation of Gaza City ahead of expanded military operations. Israel's attack on Hamas leaders in quiet Qatar shock Gulf allies and test US ties. Yep, it does. Apple unveils its iPhone 17 lineup, including the first iPhone Air. Okay. Police said they have seized 23 guns from homes of a 13-year-old who appeared to idolize mass shooters. Oh my God, that's very scary. Court rules Lisa Cook can remain a Fed governor for now while fighting Trump's attempts to fire her. Supreme Court was to quickly consider if President Donald Trump has the power to impose sweeping tariffs. Chief Justice Roberts keeps in place Trump's funding freeze, threatens billionaires in foreign aid. Trump dines at restaurant near the White House to promote his federal law enforcement surge in D.C. Top U.S. immigration official defends a rule targeting anti-American views in the green card visa processor. This court rule is this what court is this that ruled in favor of her? Federal court ruled on Tuesday. Lisa Cook can remain a person while she fights Trump's efforts to fire her. The ruling, which will almost certainly be appealed, is a blow to Trump's administration efforts to assert more control of traditionally independent feds, which sets short-term interest rates to achieve its congressional mandated goals of stable prices and maximum employment. Congress has also sought to insulate the feds from day-to-day politics. U.S. District Judge late on Tuesday granted Cook's request for a preliminary injunction blocking her firing while the dispute makes its way through the courts. Cobb ruled that Cook would likely prevail in the lawsuit she filed late last month to overturn her firing. Trump says that he was firing Cook on August 25th over allegations she raised one of her appointees that she was committing mortgage fraud related to 2 properties she purchased in 2021. Before she joined the Fed, Cook is accused of saying 2 properties where primary residence could have resulted in lower down payments and mortgage debts if either of them were designated to a second home or investment property. Cobb ruled that the allegations likely weren't sufficient legal cause to fire her. Under the law governing the Fed, governors can only be removed for cause, which Cobb says was limited to actions taken during a governor's time in office. Yeah, so he doesn't legally have the power to do so, but he's going to find a way to. He's going to find a way to try and find a way to do it. Remember, Trump wants his own people in everything. Who appears to be in the Jeffrey Epstein 50th birthday book? Charlie Sheen was one leading man in Hollywood. His new book reveals how it unraveled. Over 350 Green Atlantic women and girls forcibly given contraception by Danish officials, report says. That's not good. So, more than... Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Nope, I think I'm done. Apologies. Oof. Thank God I have hand sanitizer here on hand when I need it. Oh, sorry about that, guys. So more than 350 Green Atlantic indigenous women and girls, including some 12-year-olds and younger, reportedly were forcibly given contraception by Danish health authorities in cases that date back to the 1960s, according to an independent investigation findings that were released on Tuesday. The indirect victims, many of them teenagers at the time, were either fitted with endogenous contraceptive devices known as IUDs or coils, or given hormone birth control injections. They were not told about details about the procedure or nor did they give their consent. The victims prescribed traumatic experiences that left some with feelings of shame as well as physical side effects ranging from pain and bleeding to serious infections. The governments of Greenland and Denmark officially apologised in a statement last month for the roles in the historic mistreatment in an apparent attempt to get ahead of a highly anticipated report. An official apology event in Greenland's capital is set for September the 24th. Nearly 150 insolent women last year sued Denmark and filed compensation claims against its health ministry, saying Danish health authorities violate their human rights, and that case remains ongoing. Well, yeah. Essentially, you did it without their consent, so of course it's violation of their human rights. While Tuesday's report covers the expenses of more than 350 women who came forward to speak to the investigation. Sorry, 1 second. I just need to update. To the investigation. Danish authorities said more than 4,000 women and girls, reportedly half the fertile women in Greenland at the time, received IUDs between the 1960s and 70s. Good morning, Billy Kershaw. Hope you are doing well. So dangerous, Qatar has every right to retaliate, says Scott. Yeah, but I don't think they will. I don't think they honestly will. The alleged purpose was to limit population growth in Greenland by preventing pregnancies. The population of the Arctic islands was rapidly increasing at the time because of better living conditions and better healthcare. Greenland took over its own health program in January the 1st, 1992. So essentially, they were trying to stop the population growing. The investigation concludes comes as Greenland is in the headlines alongside US President Donald Trump. Yep, he wants to take over Greenland. The leaders of Denmark and Greenland said the island is not up for sale. Yep. Greenland, which remains part of the Danish realm colony under, the forced contraception of indigenous women and girls was part of centuries Danish politics that dehumanized Greenlanders and their families. The policy included the removal of young Inuit children from their parents to be given to Danish foster families, and reductions in controversial parents' competency tests that resulted in forced separation of Greenland families. They literally took them from Greenland and separated them from their parents and made them forced to live in Denmark. They literally took them away from their parents. That's terrible. The investigation received reports from 354 Green Atlantic women who were between 48 and 89 years when they spoke to authorities for the independent investigation, which began on the 1st of June 2023 following a media outcry. Almost all victims were between 12 and 37 years old at the time. One girl was under 12, but her exact age was not made public on Tuesday due to anonymous concerns. The vast majority of the procedures occurred in Greenland. An attorney representing some of the victims could not immediately be reached for the comment on Tuesday. Absolutely disgusting. The thing is like, there's a lot of context here I don't know. Like, why did they want to stop the population growth? I mean, I suppose it's a case of because Greenland doesn't have a lot of resources. They rely on the Danish state, obviously Denmark and the Danish state, to supply them with things that they need. And I suppose if that population continued to increase, it would mean then that the Danish government would have to give more money, more funds, more resources to Greenland as it continued to grow and prosper. And that's my assumption of why they didn't want it. And again, I think it's down to money of why they stopped it. But it's absolutely cruel because you've given contraception to women and girls, forcing them to take something they don't even know what it is. They don't realise till later on, and putting through a great deal of pain and agony over it as well, just to stop the population growth. And I believe that's the main reason, but I don't know that for sure. But yeah, Denmark are going to be forced to pay out compensation as a result of it. It's absolutely horrible. Poland said it downed drones that violated its airspace during Russian bombardment of Ukraine. A murky pipeline deal to send Russian gas to China shows Beijing dominance in the relationship. Yep. Plans in the works for Korean workers detained in raid to go home while fears linger for residents. Yeah, it's a very horrible situation, that is. Alex Jones asked US Supreme Court to hear the appeal of $1.4 billion Sandy Hook judgment. More about the Apple phone. Any other stories over Dell? Trump's note to Epstein that he denies writing is released by Congress. Kilmar Barto Garcia wants asylum. The US wants to deport him. What do we know? Where is he now at Kilmar? Where is he now? That's why I'm generally worried. I'm generally worried where he is now. Is he still in the UK? Is still in the US? I don't know if he's still in the US, guys. Honestly, I don't know. That's the Associated Press. They've covered quite a fair bit there. Thank you so much again, Alison Kier, for £2 super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Good morning, Witchy Goth. Hope you are doing well. Guys, make sure you check out Witchy Goth's YouTube channel. Hope you are doing well. And anybody else who are lurking in the chats as well. Just a reminder, we're only going till 9 o'clock this morning. I'll be back live later on at 12 o'clock for Prime Minister's questions. So if you could join me for PMQs, that'd be greatly appreciated. First of 3 live streams that I'll be doing today, guys. Al Jazeera here, what they've got here. Brutal aggression. Israel's deadly attack on Qatar draws global outrage. Does it draw global outrage, though? Does it really draw global outrage? Let's see. Show me who's angry about it. UN Secretary General, yep, they would have criticised it. Saudi Arabia criticised, condemned, denounced as the strongest terms of the brutal Israeli aggression and flagrant violation of sovereignty of the sister state of Qatar, adding that it affirms its full solidarity. It warns of grave consequences resulting from Israeli occupation, persistence in its criminal transaction, and its blatant violations of principles of international law and all international norms. Saudi Arabia. Turkey, yep, Turkey would have criticised as well. UAE, yep, supports, condemns the treacherous Israeli attack. Again, doesn't help the situation. Kuwait, again, another country that's also furious. Jordan, again, another one calling it out, rightfully so. Iran and Iraq, yep, also there. Palestinian response as well, not surprised. Yemen Houthi groups, again, not surprised. Maldives calling it out as well. We know the Maldives have banned I think they've banned Israeli citizens from going to them. UK condemns Israeli strikes in Doha, which violates Qatar's sovereignty, risk further escalation. And he keeps saying the same bollocks over and over again, the Prime Minister. French President Emmanuel Macron said that the attack against Qatar is unacceptable, whatever the reason may be. That sounds good. Pakistan has also attacked it. Unlawful and dangerous, describing it as blatant violation. Hamas, we already know what they were going to say. Lebanon, we already know what they were going to say. Morocco strongly condemns blatant violation. Syria, blatant violation again. Sudan, clear violation of international laws and norms. This is coming from a country that's in a civil war that are breaking their own violations when it comes to civilians here, just saying. Egypt, full solidarity with Qatar, expressed its full solidarity, strongly condemns and denounces the aggressive acts committed by Israel against the brotherly state of Qatar, affirming Egypt's territorial violation. Yep, again, another country that's called it out as well. Pretty much everyone is angry at Israel from the looks of it in the Middle East. Gulf Cooperation Council calls it despicable and cowardly. Algeria calls it brutal Israeli aggression. Oman, which is also in the Middle East, brutal attack launched by Israel. Don't normally hear from that country. Flagrant violation of international laws. Miranda. Kazakhstan says whatever the motives behind these actions are unacceptable if it violates the state of Qatar and convenes the principles of international law, says Kazakhstan. Spain condemns it, of course. Libya strongly condemns the Israeli aggression as well. Italy sincere support for Imam Tal Ben Hamad and Qatar, reaffirming Italy's full efforts to end the war in Gaza. Germany's foreign minister described the Israeli attack in Doha as unacceptable, saying not only violates Qatar's territorial sovereignty but also threatens collective efforts to release the hostages. Says Germany. So interesting, that's Germany's foreign minister there. EU says any escalation in the war in Gaza must be avoided, adding this is to no one's interest. The European Union says. The White House said it was very unfortunate that it was located in a section of Doha, capital Qatar. And we know what the US position is on it already. But interesting to hear some different countries on that as well. I thought that was very interesting, to say the least. Can we go back to the front page, please? Thank you. What else is there? Polish NATO forces scramble to shoot down Russian drones. Ronaldo, Portugal defeats Hungary. Trump says signatories on birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein's not his. Okay, sure, it's not. Obesity is now the main form of malnutrition affiliating young, UNICEF has said. Australia is to spend 1.1 billion on underwater ghost shark attack drones. That's a lot of money. Australian Defence Minister said large underwater attack drones have very long range of operations. Australia will spend this amount, $1.7 billion, on a fleet of extra large underwater ghost shark attack drones in the moons. The official said will supplement the country's plan to acquire sophisticated nuclear powered submarines. So on Wednesday that the Ghost Shark autonomous underwater vehicle would be complement Australia's naval surface fleet and submarines to provide more capable and more lethal navy. This is profoundly important capability for the Royal Australian Navy, Morale said, consistently articulate that Australia faces the most complex, in some ways most threatening strategic landscape that we have since the end of the Second World War. The government says it signed $1.1 billion 5-year contract with Older Australia to build, maintain, develop the new crew undersea vehicle in Australia. Well, the Navy is something that Australia should be invested in, considering it's an island like the UK, so makes logical sense. But that's a lot of money, 1.1 billion. What else have they got here? Flotilla. They're supposed to be setting sail today, I believe. They'll be setting sail today, I believe. The flotilla. Crowdfunding how Ethiopia Dam was born. Somalia land recognised a forced transfer of Palestinians, not worth it. US firms in China most pessimistic since 1999, survey says. And there's a bunch of opinion pieces there. Any other stuff that's worth looking at? Not really from Al Jazeera here. So we'll leave that there for now. There's plenty still to cover. Still got half an hour anyway, guys, just a reminder. New York Times, what have they got here? Once again, Israel leaves Trump in the dark as it conducts a military attack. They were told about it just before the strike, apparently. Facing Israeli assault, many in Gaza say fleeing again is worse. Princeton's a student held by Iran-backed militias released, Trump says. Poland said it shot down Russian drones that entered its airspace, apparently. Yeah, this is the third time I've heard that. Nepal on the curfew as troops patrol Kamagata, the deadly protest. Yeah, we looked at that already. Gesture politics won't help Palestinians. Absolutely. Trump, Epstein, a suggestive Czech and a woman they both dated. A photo of Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book shows a financier holding a novelty check with a signature of DJ Trump alongside a woman who dated both men. They didn't know each other at all, guys, apparently. You know, Trump said they didn't know each other at all. But, you know, oh, that's his signature on the check there. I wonder why he's got a check there. I wonder what the reason is there, guys. Analysis piece there. Message to Democrats in Congress, it's time to act. Yeah, well, yeah, good luck forcing them to act. We analysed thousands of videos by MAHA influencers. Here's what we found. These are all behind paywall, so I can't open them up, guys, just for reference on the New York Times. Apple introduces new slimmer iPhone. That is a very slim iPhone. That means there that if you drop it, it will easily break. It is like what I hate. I tell you what I don't like about mobile phones today. You ever notice that you always buy a phone, right? What's the first thing you have to do when you get a phone? You got to buy a case for it, because if you don't have a case for it, it can easily break. Because that's how flimsy mobile phones are these days. You have to buy a case for them. Doesn't it suck that you know when you buy a phone, right? It should come. Wouldn't it be better if the phone came with a case? Just a suggestion. Like, it should come with a bog standard case here for you to put it in, unless you want to get your own one. Like, just something basic. You should be given a case with it, to protect your phone. France, a new prime minister, braced for a day of disruption. It's going to be in the next few days. Yeah, they'll be announcing a new prime minister, Macron. We talked about that yesterday. Judge rules Fed governor can remain enrolled for now. Yep, we looked at that yesterday earlier. Chief Justice Roberts now lets block Trump's foreign aid. Yeah, that's a bit more difficult, that is, I'm afraid. We all thought raids were over. Fears return for immigrants in LA. Yeah, because of the Supreme Court ruling, basically, ICE are going to be raiding Los Angeles again. Good morning, One Angry Pagan. Hope you are doing well, buddy. Guys, make sure to check out One Angry Pagan YouTube channel. We will be doing this. Our show will be back on the I was looking at the excuse me, apologies. 25th of September is our next show, guys, just for reference there. So just 2 weeks' time. He risked everything to leave China. US sent him back. Chinese man crossed jungles to enter the US and failed in a bid for asylum after being deported home in 2023. He faced choice to stay or try to leave again. That's terrible. Like, the fact that you risk everything to leave China and then you get sent back to the country, that's really horrifying. And considering what we looked at yesterday of how China looks at its citizens and whatnot, yeah, you get sent back there, you ain't coming back. You ain't getting out of that country. Like, you really are not. Hong Kong's same-sex rights bill meets rare defiance from lawmakers. Legislators could sink a government proposal that would give some rights to couples who marry overseas. Denmark forces... yeah, we talked about that. The contraception on Green Atlantic girls. Scathing report. Starbucks, don't care about them. I don't like Starbucks. I've never liked them at all. I don't know what it is that people see in them, but, you know, it's an American thing more than anything. Democrats narrowly gapped in House after victory in Virginia special election. James Wilkinshaw will fill a seat left open by the death of his former boss Gerald Connolly and shrink in the Republican majority in the chamber. Oh, that's a big win. Stuart Craig, designer the movie of the world of Harry Potter, dies at age 83. Rest in peace. The new symbol of Brazilian right, the American flag. It's a nod to President Trump. Brazilian nationalist movements adopted the stars and stripes. It could also be the focus of investigation involving the NFL. That's pretty scary that that Brazilian protesters are carrying an American flag in homage to Donald Trump. Not to America, but to Trump specifically there. I like this from Mandami. I saw this clip this morning. Sonny Mandami denounced his FIFA's World Cup ticket pricing plan with 8 matches scheduled to be played at MetLife Stadium. The New York mayoral candidate launched a formal petition on Tuesday. Yeah, he wants to knock the prices down for local New Yorkers. Fair play to him. You know, he's thinking 10 steps ahead, this guy. Any other stories here worth looking at? Probably not there. Yeah, the new Apple iPhone. It's a normal thing now, isn't it? They're always just like, what's happening? What Apple phone is coming out today? And here's me. I broke my old iPhone, right? And then what I do is I go and get the same iPhone because I don't want to get another one. Yeah, and the funny thing is that this actual phone, this iPhone of mine, actually has made me money. So this is from Middle Eastern Eye. And I'm not talking about the YouTube. I'm talking about the wrestling content that I do. This phone actually makes me money from wrestling content. I mean, I make shorts using my mobile phone. Believe it or not, all the short videos you guys see me produce, they're all done through the mobile phone. None of it's done on the computer. Middle Eastern Eye here. The Israeli strikes targeting Hamas hit the wrong building. A source tells MEE. What a surprise! They hit the wrong building. Or as I said, an innocent person died as a result of it. 6 questions you want answered about Israel striking in Qatar. So there's only 6 questions. What's the 6 questions then? Qatar is arguably one of the safest countries in the world. Can the region feel safe if Israel and US envoy Tom Bugstreet can go anywhere it wants? No one and no place in the region is safe under this Netanyahu government. That's basically the message here. This is not the first time Netanyahu has ordered a strike on a sovereign country. Every single time he's done it, the US, Europe, and other countries have either ignored it, encouraged it, or supported it. Yeah. Understandably, people are concerned wherever there's a peak in violence. However, that violence could escalate from Israel's caucus, especially after the attack on Monday in Jerusalem, where 6 people were killed. Israel has been telegraphing that Hamas leadership was not immune to payback, despite the manifestation of how this actually happened. There's hope that it could lead somewhat more constructive. Israel is not indiscriminately going after everybody in the Middle East, but it's certainly a qualitative different kind of act. I think it will turn the public against Israel even more everywhere, and it will make governments much more wary of aligning themselves in any way with Israel. Yeah, I agree, because they have targeted, and I said this yesterday for those who weren't there yesterday, yeah. Israel have targeted, in terms of nations, so they've targeted Yemen, the Houthi rebels in particular. They've targeted Gaza. They've targeted the West Bank. They've targeted Lebanon. They've targeted Syria. They've targeted Iran and now Qatar. Like, you think about just how many countries did I mention there? Like, am I missing somebody? Lebanon, they had a war with Hezbollah as well. Like, they're literally targeting anyone and anything. Like, you cannot say that Israel aren't the aggressors in the Middle East. Like, literally, you just can't say it, that they aren't the aggressors. No country is safe. Brief history of Israel's targeting Palestinians on foreign soil. Members of the Qatari security forces among those killed in the Israeli strike in Doha. Like I said yesterday, will there be any compensation for the loss of life there? No. There'll be no compensation. UK government slammed for not concluding Israel's committing genocide. Yeah, I absolutely am furious with this. The British government have come out and basically saying that Israel is not committing genocide in Gaza. Well, I'm sorry that you failed to see the evidence put in front of you, but that is what is happening, I'm afraid. The evidence is quite clear what Israel are doing. And it's pretty disgusting that the Labour government have decided to go down this path of actually just blatantly calling it out, saying, no, it's not. It's not. Thousands protest against the presence of Israeli companies at London's Arms Fair. Yeah, we talked about this, actually. I think we mentioned a bit of this on Monday, didn't we? Arms companies and weapons dealers have been met with protests against Israel participation at London Defence and Security Equipment International DSEI Arms Fair. Police scuffle with demonstrators holding banners and shouting as more than 50 Israeli arms firms joined the exhibitors at the event of London's Excel Centre on Tuesday. The exhibitors included Rafael and Aerospace Industries, both of which are owned by the Israeli state, despite the UK government banning the official Israeli delegation from attending. Given the ongoing genocide in Gaza, in which more than EBIT Systems and large manufacturer, Drone Force also confirmed trade publication defence breakthrough they would attend. With protesters blocking the main entrance to the exhibit centre, police escorted attendees through side doors of chants of shame and free Palestine. So they still got in, unfortunately, guys. They still got in. Aston Keir says, chat, please hit the like button and share this if you can. Thank you again for the £2 super chat, my friend. Really appreciate it. Yeah, quite some people might not be awake right now to be watching. That might be the reason. But thank you for that. On several occasions, Middle East and I witnessed police using physical force to maintain the cordon around the attendees, with several protesters injured. One protester, seemingly unconscious, cornered and off zone in handcuffs before being taken away by paramedics in ambulances. So, yep, there they are. Demonstrators being held back by security, being absolutely brutal to the protesters there. And you can see there how brutal they are there just from the image there. Middle East and I also witnessed police surroundings and contained approximately 20 protesters for at least an hour, but one of the demonstrators was subsequently released without arrest. Described the event as obscene, so it was horrified by the police response. Yep, police have to be brutal because they want to be. Police, people who contribute to genocide, mass murder are protected and supported, while the people of consciousness who try to protect are the ones who are arrested, criminalised, and treated with violence. He said. At the time of publication, at least 3 people had been arrested. Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But the current government is obviously on the side of. The current government is on the side of them, and here they all are, playing with their toys inside. Absolutely disgusting. Trump blessed Israel's strikes in Qatar, on Qatar sources say. Israel applies sweeping punishing measures on Palestinian towns after Jerusalem shooting. Yeah, I did say they would do that after on Monday when we saw that, unfortunately, which is a real crying shame, I'm afraid. Let's have a look at ABC News here. Poland downs Russian drones. Looked at that already. Federal judge temporarily blocks Trump's attempts to fire Lisa Cook. Yep, talked about that already. Chicago immigration enforcement surge begins with 3 arrests. When is this? Yesterday evening. Federal agents descended on Chicago's Lowendale neighborhood on Tuesday as part of the Department of Homeland Security Operation Midway Blitz, a surge of immigration enforcement in this city. Agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, along with please shut up, along with alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agents, arrested 3 men saying they are suspected gang members. Spoke with the head of ICE operation targeting criminal offenders who are in the US illegally. We are talking anyway from the most egregious child sex offenders, homicide, burglary, assault, domestic violence, Once it's come on, then that everyone's committed crimes. We will primarily focus on the ones who want to get off the streets. Going to be a horrendous crimes. Acting director of ICE Enforcement and Rules of Operations told ABC News. AFS Assistant Special Agent in charge, John Marco, said they are investigating possible gun trafficking by the Trade the Wilder gang. The investigation started through Crime Intelligence Centre. 15 partners agencies, including ICE, and during this operation we identified 30 TDA suspected gang members of selling firearms in the Chicagoland area, they said. So this is not, they're claiming that they're illegals and don't really know enough about it. So it's not really, it's not really the big surge yet in Chicago, but it's the start of one. It's one of them. That's what I'll say there. UFO healing new release appears to show US missiles bouncing off an object. So we've just been confirmed another UFO sightings. Not my signatories, says Trump. What else is there? Any other stuff? RFK led a MAGA report offers solutions, some vague, to childhood health problems. Trump says he's very unhappy with Israeli strike in Qatar. Oh, Crimea River. You know, he says he's unhappy, but he's not going to do anything about it. Thank you, Alison Keir, for helping me reach today's Super Chat goal. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the extra, another £2 Super Chats. Thank you. Yeah, it actually counted this time. Yeah, for some reason. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Tardillo joins Democratic primary for Texas U.S. Senate seat. ICE using fines lawsuits to pressure migrants to self-deport, attorneys have said. Yeah, anything to force anyone who's not supposed to be in the country, try to push them, force them out. Michigan judge dismisses case against 15 alleged fake electors in 2020. Trump questions whether domestic violence should count in DC crime statistics. Any other interesting stories here? DEA arrests over 600 people in massive operation against the Sincar drug cartel. Where was this? This was yesterday. The Drug Enforcement Administration said it arrested over 600 people during a week-long operation targeting the Sincar drug cartel. The arrests are aimed at dismantling Sincar cartel, one of the world's most violent and powerful drug cartels, responsible for flooding the U.S. with fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin, called DEA. February, Trump administration designated the Mexico-based Sincar cartel, along with 7 other groups, as a foreign terrorist organization. The cartel remains one of the most significant threats to public safety, public health, and national security in the U.S., according to DEA statements on the arrests. From August the 25th through the 29th, DEA agents across 23 domestic field divisions and 7 foreign regions carry out coordinated enforcement actions that resulted in the arrest of over 617 people, along with the seizure of 480 kilograms of fentanyl powder, 714,000 counterfeit pills, 2,200 kilograms of methamphetamine, 7,400 kilograms of cocaine, 420 firearms and currency and assets worth close to $13 million, the DEA said. That's quite a raid. Peaceful demonstrate full weight DEA's commitment to protecting the American people. Every kilogram poison. Yep. Tens of thousands of similar measures, associates and affiliates operations worldwide in at least 40 countries who are responsible for the production, manufacturing, distribution operation related to trafficking dangerous and deadliest synthetic drugs, the DEA continued. So it's a massive operation. Massive operation there. Anything else here? CDC finds 4% drop in US death rates in 2024. Experts says decline may be due to COVID. Well, I expect that death rate to actually increase as time goes on, because people have less and less access to vaccines and vaccines and medicines, because the health secretary, the health minister, is basically like, no, everything needs to be immune. You need to basically learn to handle it by yourself. What is happening in African news? Strengthen ties. African leaders eye power imports from Ethiopia. Africa under cyber attack, what's really safe online. Israeli Prime Minister urges Palestinians to evacuate head of Gaza City. Mali launches airstrike in response to blatant imposed fuel blockade. Democrats released suggested letter to Epstein, purposely signed by Trump. Nepal's Prime Minister resigned. US President Donald Trump to skip G20 summit in Johannesburg. What a surprise! He's going to skip. He's got golf to do, guys. Yeah, he's got some very important golf games to get under his belt, so that's why he can't make it to Johannesburg. African leaders push for climate investment in Ethiopia summit. Excuse me. US and Egypt co-host Bright Star 25 joint military exercises. Ethiopia launches Africa's largest dam as neighbours eyes power imports. They've opened a new dam. The Grand Resilient Dam built on our... Actually, we'll play the video instead.
Ethiopia has inaugurated Africa's largest hydroelectric dam, a $5 billion mega project expected to more than double the nation's power supply. The Grand Renaissance Dam, built on a Nile tributary near the Sudanese border, will generate over 5,000 megawatts, powering homes, businesses, and even the country's growing fleet of electric vehicles. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed hailed the launch as a big achievement, saying the dam shows what Africans can accomplish. Leaders from across the continent attended the ceremony, with South Sudan and Kenya announcing plans to import Ethiopian power. But the project has stirred controversy. Egypt, heavily dependent on the Nile for water, calls the dam an existential threat and accuses Ethiopia of violating international law by moving forward without consensus. Abiy sought to reassure neighbors, vowing Ethiopia will share prosperity, not cause harm. For many Ethiopians, the launch is a source of pride.
It's a very big moment for the country, but Egypt have every right to be careful, be upset about this, because that river is really, because of the water there, and it's really vital to Egypt's economy as well, and their water. So the fact that that I understand Egypt's concerned about it greatly. It will be interesting to see how it does over time there, guys. No flooding in Tor Bay, but it's at heels here, says one angry pagan. Yeah, be careful for floods, my friend. Do take all precautions, my friend. Flash flooding hits parts of southwest BBC 7 minutes ago. Yeah, please be careful. Take whatever cautions you need, my friend. Stay safe as always. I really mean that. African leaders, get out of here. Any other stories here? That's interesting from Africa's perspective. That's an old story. That's an old story. That's about... Yeah, the rest of the stories are quite old. Still got about 8 minutes left before we wrap up, guys. I don't think Graham Hughes is doing morning brews because he's in Canada at the moment. I believe he's on the other... So he's been... I think he's been doing like doing a show. He did a show like at live stream at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know if he's going to be doing that again today. I don't know how long he's out there as well. So I don't expect a morning brew to be done for him, just as a reference. Kiev independent here for the first for NATO. Poland downs Russian drones amid mass attack on Ukraine as Putin testing the West. General Staff, Russia has launched over 1,091,000 troops in Ukraine since the start of the war. Trump urges EU to impose half tariff on China. India to pressure Russia, Financial Times has reported. Von der Leyen to outline EU priorities after backlash over Trump's trade deal. Russia gains speed up in Ukraine ahead of high-stakes autumn. Explosions put 3 Russian pipelines out of service, intelligence sources claim. EU delivers 8% of promised shells to Ukraine, chief diplomat says. Sky Ranger mobile air defense systems are heading to Ukraine. After Putin rise in Scotch key, alleged Ukrainian drones strike hits the city. Putin told the White House that he plans to seize Donbass by the end of 2025, Zelensky says. Russia makes a cultural comeback in the West as Ukraine faces the most brutal months of war. How the right wing in US weaponized the murder of Ukrainian refugees. That sounds very... How is the right wing of Europe is weaponizing murders of Ukrainian refugees? Oh my god. School in occupied Ukraine named after son of a CIA official who fought for Russia. Russian military losses near 300,000 in 2025, Sikorsky has said. Azerbaijan squeezed Russia out of the South Caucasus. pure terrorism. Yeah, we covered that story yesterday. Absolutely terrible hair. Hungary signs biggest ever Western gas deal with Shell, but refuses to quit Russian supply. Why? Why? Poland builds Europe's largest army. Russia's ongoing war reveals its gap. Yep. Poland has the biggest army because it's on the border of Russia. That's why. Don't blame them. Don't blame them for having the biggest army. Got just two articles or two websites left to look at, guys. We'll see if we can get to if we can make the most of them in the last 5 minutes. Trump said he's not thrilled about Israel. Yep, know about that already. Trump wants crack down on some pharmacy ads. JFK releases child health report. Pharma ads. Senator Rupert Gallagher seeks to block Abu Dhabi for military funeral honours. Supreme Court takes up Trump's tariffs, setting stage for major shutdown. Poland said its airspace was violated by unidentified drone-type objects. DOJ charges man accused of deadly stabbing of Ukrainian refugees. Robert Holt's lower court order that requires Trump to unfreeze foreign aid. Cruise ship passengers jump overboard allegedly to avoid $16,000 gambling debt. Jay Gonzalez was charged with attempting to avoid monetary reporting requirements when traveling to the US. Community activists tried to help immigrants ahead of Chicago ICE raids. Some state residents could enjoy bigger tax cuts this year. US has lost thousands of manufacturing jobs this year. Analysis finds. Yeah, bringing back. I thought he was bringing back manufacturing, guys. I thought Trump was bringing back manufacturing. Manufacturing in the US are cutting thousands of jobs, even as President Trump pushed economic policy say they will vitalize the industry. I thought he was bringing back manufacturing, guys. I suppose this is fake news, right? 12,000 manufacturing jobs in August, right? This must be fake news. Yeah? Fake news. That must be it. Anything else? Exclusive border official who oversaw LA immigration raids arrives in Chicago. An exclusive from them. Florida radio station borrows Trump to be its name and to be its face and name. Oh God. DHS announces Operation Midway Blitz amid ICE operations in Chicago. And this is crisis in the Middle East. Yeah, and there's a crisis in the Middle East there, guys. Looks like we're going to be finishing a bit early. This guys. I've only got one headline left here. Let's have a look. Nepal army bids to restore after deadly protests ousted the PM. That's Nepal. We looked at that earlier. Open war in Malaysia's opposition party. Bersku threatens to undermine Muda's PM candidacy. Don't know enough about Malaysian politics, to be honest, guys. MFA advises Singaporeans to defer non-essential travel to Nepal amid protests. Yep, don't blame them for saying that. Cambodia opens a $2 billion Chinese-built Techno International Airport. Indonesia's new growth finance minister said the job is not easy. Aren't they still in chaos in Indonesia? Its Navy eyes decommissioned Italian aircraft carrier to strengthen the fleet. Thai's ex-prime minister jailed as court rules hospital stays unlawful. Sent to prison on Tuesday after Supreme Court ruled his time in hospital detention was so attempting to avoid jail. Major blow for the powerful family that has dominated politics for 2 decades. Yeah, you thought you could get away. The polarizing billionaire spent only a few hours in prison upon his return from 15 years in self-exile in 2023 before he was hospitalized after complaining of heart trouble and chest pains, prompted widespread skepticism and public outrage. His 8-year sentence for conflict and abuse of power while Prime Minister from 2001 to 2006 was commuted to 1 year by the King, and Fredkin was released on parole after 6 months of detention, the entirety of which he spent in the VIP wing of the hospital. Judges on Tuesday said the 70-year-old had no severe illness and could have been treated in jail, adding both he and his doctors had internally prolonged his hospital stay. Yeah. Well, back in you go. Back in you go. Especially when you're not... Oh, screen's frozen. Hello? Can I come back to the main page, please? Can I go back to the main page? Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't go back to the main page there. That's weird. Oh, there we go. It's all jumping all over the place now. ChatGPT better than a financial advisor. I put it to the test. Depends what you ask ChatGPT. Can't always trust what it says though. Dozens of containers fall off ships, shutting down major California airport. Parents with 3 or more young children to get $1,000 life GD credits from September the 10th. Where's this? Singaporean children. Make babies and we give you money. Is what Singapore's government is basically saying. Make babies and we will give you money. That's essentially the message there. So the bottom line is the customer pays the fine, says Scott. Yep. How do companies get those profits there? Yeah. Their profits are for which rankers want to keep. Therefore, this keeps the money in circulation. Yeah. Yeah. Do check out the Bing podcast, you guys. I did hear Pagan. I did hear back from the Bing podcast. They should be joining us next week for the round table. But Lee Korn will be joining us, but he will be late to the show. So yeah, I just want to let people be aware of that. But there will be a round table next week. Cross fingers, there's no issues and they turn up. But yeah, I've only had literally one communication from the BIM podcast. Just one email back. That's it. But I did email them, and I still haven't got a response to my second response. So yeah, the communication is really, really poor between myself and the BIM podcast team. It's really, really poor. Is what I'm going to say. Hopefully there's no issue. It should be okay, but I'm not saying it's definitely happening, because the communication's not been great is all I'm going to say. But thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Alison Kier, for your super chats. I'll be back in a couple of hours time at 12 o'clock for Prime Minister's questions. No promises that I'll make the paper review for Dave McGuinness and 2 shows, because I'm going to be going for my walk now. But thank you for your support, guys. Really, really appreciate it. This is the first of 3 live streams today, so I'm heading out. But before I go, if you can, hit the like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content as well, which will be dropping over the weekdays as well. And just want to say again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.